This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate.
I apologize about that. This is Brian HRap Williams back at you. Once again, this is the End of the Bench Media presents A Few Minutes with HRap. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tap in. I also, as usual, say this every day. I need you to go, if you're not watching this live, go to www.thaendofdabench.com. Watch this and all of my content. Today, you will have a piece of history from Home Team History, and that is another purveyor of information that will uplift, free, and empower the community of humanity, the community of HRap, the community of anybody who is a righteous individual. Otherwise, you could potentially be called into the matrix. Ironically, I used the term the matrix today, and I'm going to speak about that shortly. Now, again, hit that like, hit that share. You can watch this in its entirety. The home team video is in entirety and other content as you scroll through my website, www.thaendofdabench.com. Before I get this started, thank you to Dolores and John. Dolores, John create Brian. Brian creates the End of the Bench Media. And a few minutes with HRap is the child of Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tapping in. Today, wait a minute. Wait, a warning. I said this on the shirt. Warning, 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 warning. I'm not listening. The reason I'm not listening is this, because I'm a stubborn dude. I'm extremely stubborn. That's why I do this podcast, because you can't tell me anything. And you can help me, but if you don't show me the facts, I'm not listening. And this is the mentality our community needs to take care of, and the community of humanity needs to take on in regards to these United States of America and this world. And when I say the community, it's people that look like me, because we are the parents of the earth. We're the first people here. We helped develop all this, and people fell in line after that. And then they developed their own societies in regards to the blueprint that we created. Now, like it, hate it, accept it, reject it, it is what it is. I'm telling you what time it is. Now, with that being said, at some point, we need to realize that we're trapped in the Matrix. And when you watch the movie The Matrix, Neo knew it was something going on, but he just didn't know how to combat it and what was actually going on. What the actual going on is the fact that you have people who are multi-billionaires at the top of the food chain financially, and they want to control the world. You've heard terms in the past that let you know there was something going on. What does he mean by that? This country owns our debt. And who is our? I ain't bothered dying from any of you people, but that's neither here nor there. I got some credit cards, but thank God all of them are at zero balance, right? Well, one of them at $45, but that's neither here nor there. But the credit cards that I have at zero balance. Now, so that's the only debt I owe. There is no we, and that's the problem. We keep buying into the we. Black folks, when the hell did we borrow money? When in the hell is it a situation to whereas you were accepted as the greater portion of the we? So stop speaking in that. The great ancestor Malcolm X used to speak about there's something wrong with you when you talking about we. Like the terminology he used was, we must be sick, huh, boss? The house on fire. We, our house on fire, boss. We got to pick that our crop. No, ain't no our, we, us, until there is an our, we, and us. Realize what you're dealing with and where you're coming from in this situation. The thing that bothers me the most is we keep trying, the people who are working class individuals, the Black community and the working class community worldwide, keep trying to fit into this round peg, into this square hole. It will not fit. And if you shave yourself down and become a square peg, guess what? They'll say you're still a square peg. You're just fitting into this round hole, or round peg fitting into this square hole. You'll never be accepted. Now, what you can do is use the intel, the history, and everything that you've learned about this country and history of the world to guide you through this fight that you're in. And I'm going to speak about fights at the end of the program. We have to ask ourselves, what's in this matrix for us? And if it's not, just like in the movie, Neo stepped outside the matrix. Is it going to be difficult? Extremely. A lot of people, are you going to have people? See, that's the beauty in that movie, The Matrix. It showed you every aspect of the world. It showed you welcoming people into the know. It showed you training to be one of the leaders of the people in the know. And it showed you how some people will know that's what's going on. And they'll go, I'm not dealing with that. It's more comfortable just being a part of the matrix. And I'm just going to walk, march, left, right. And I'm going to go along with it. Like the guy who, he knew he wasn't eating shrimp. He was eating the prawn, gigantic shrimp, big shrimp. I see one around, right? Big shrimp. But anyway, he realized what he was doing, but he said, I'm more comfortable. Instead of fighting this system out here, instead of fighting for freedom, mental, physical, and spiritual freedom, I'll just plug into the system and continue to eat the stuff that I know is not real. And then, bam, I'll just die happy. And understand, and we have colloquialisms for that. We call you a coon. We call you, like in other communities, they call you a Twinkie. It's a million and one terms. Oreo. Hey, I'm just gonna be comfortable in the middle of the matrix, and they'll never get to me. And guess what? At one point, the middle class felt like that. The upper middle class felt like that, and we were the lowly working class, and you don't want to be like them. But you know what? It's an advantage to be in the lowly working class because you understand how to live in uncomfortable conditions. People in the United States of America today who wagged their finger at the Black community and told us that they fell into the terminology of the matrix. They believed everything that was in the matrix. They let the matrix program them. And that's why I wore this t-shirt. Warning, warning, I don't listen. There it is. I'm not listening. There it is. This is what's going on. You have to stop listening to your oppressors' propaganda about who you are and what's going on. You can no longer put yourself at the behest of them to give you information, to lead you, and to put you in an advantageous situation, because you see the leadership of this country has literally turned its back on each other. They're eating their own. Guess what? I had a good job and I was at the top and I didn't have to worry about it. And guess what? Those good jobs are being eliminated by a billionaire who's attempting to finance the United States labor to maintain his own wealth. He has 16 children or 12 children. What is he trying to do? How many billionaires you know have that many children? Because clearly that's an additional agenda. Oh man, the white people in Africa are being discriminated against. How are they being discriminated against? You left another land, came to that land, dominated, oppressed, and just treated them as if they were chattel, just animals on a farm. And now they've said, you know what, enough. Give us our land back. You're wrong for wanting your stuff back. You know what? The irony in that is this. Orenthal James Simpson went to jail for 13 years for that very thing. Orenthal James Simpson was accused of a crime, acquitted of a crime, hunted down by the system. Somebody told him, we have your stuff. He went to get his stuff, took it back, and he went to jail for it. And that's exactly what's going on out here, because they tricked you into believing that, hey, man, OJ is wrong for being acquitted for a crime and wanting the stuff that he was acquitted for. I earned this. It's my stuff. You have it. Nobody said you could have it. You going to jail for getting it back. And when the world said, see, that's what he get. They knew if these people ever rise up, we got the right to do it. This is truly a record that is being played on and on and on and on again. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is look at the Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War, white folks got tired of being ruled by England. I'm sick of this nonsense. No taxation, no representation, and all that foolishness. And guess what? They won the war with the United States, with the 13 colonies. We don't have to deal with that foolishness anymore. Not a problem. And guess what? The Fourth Amendment, or it's the right to bear arms. I got the right to have a weapon. You know why they did that? Because there was no 911 at that time. And if the blacks ever rose up, or these natives ever rose up, which is one of the same, that's another episode. If they ever rise up, we need the ability to have guns so we can fight against them. That's what it was about. So we can create militias to fight against the people who this is their land and we're taking it from them, and we need to be able to kill them in the event that they want it back. And you have bought into it hook, line, and sinker. We can no longer buy into those things. We can no longer allow the television. See, at one point we've been programmed. The TV tells you the news. That's where you get the news. But guess what? Social media is the greatest crime in the history of the world, because we have allowed them to propagandize lies and normalize lying, and then they distract us with that. See, like I mentioned yesterday, Celine Dion died. No, she's not. She's at home right now, probably rolling her eyes thinking, damn, why would they kill me too? But it was a distraction. And every time you get one of those distractions, something else comes along to distract you. Meanwhile, over here, they're actually doing the work. Remember, I continue to tell you, evil, wickedness, and hatred only comes at you directly. You have never seen Jason Voorhees jump up to the left and then stab you with his right hand. No, he's not doing that. He's coming right at you because I'm a big monster. I'm Freddy Krueger. I'm coming right at you. I got these claws. I'm gonna kill you. And if I don't kill you, I'm gonna make you so terrorized that you hope that you're gonna wake up out the dream. Nope, you're not gonna wake up out the dream. And Jason is not gonna stop chasing you. They've been chasing you for 500 years. They've been chasing you for thousands of years at this point. But what we really need to understand is this. We need to start coming in different directions, because if I listen to the NBC, CBS, MSNBC, Fox, or whatever news, they're only going to give me so much of the story. I'm going to watch it, get some of the story, and then I'm going to move forward. You ever wonder why? If it bleeds, it leads? Because I'm gonna traumatize you slightly by telling you that they were shooting at O'Hare International Airport, one of the most interactive airports in the world, and then everything else under that, you're traumatized. You're stuck on these people shooting, because now it's a racial conversation going on, and these folks, you can't let them go nowhere. I'm unsafe. I'm this, I'm that, but you don't even realize the world been that wicked and crazy for a very long time. The world has been that wicked and crazy for a very. Pedophilia is not new. Homosexuality and LGBTQIE is not new. Drug use is not new. Criminality is not new. Kidnapping is not new. Human trafficking is not new. And how could you possibly be anything with melanin in it? I don't care if you're Latino with melanin in you. I don't care if you identify as a Latino, you identify as a Caribbean, and you identify as an African, or if you identify as a black person in America. How in the entire hell could you say, well, this human trafficking stuff is getting bad? How the hell do you think you get over to this side of the world? How do you think your last name is Johnson, Smith, Jackson, Washington, so forth and so on? Human trafficking. So no, it's not getting bad. It's been bad. They used to be on TV sicking dogs on people who didn't want to, who professed not to fight back. They shot a man who said, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. There was a group of people called the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense that they literally, not even a quarter mile away from where I am right now, ran up in the house and shot a man while he was asleep next to his pregnant wife. And you talking about it's getting bad. Are you kidding? This is the matrix, because they got you looking here and they're really doing all the work over there. But again, look over here. It's a direction. The fight is really over there. Straight at you. But you must come at somebody like an octopus with tentacles if you are truly to win this fight. If you want to just participate in the fight, then okay, participate. Or see, then you get to a certain status. Once you get to that status, you lose. You lose because all the people up under you are the people who are really trying to fight. This is why people like one of my favorite people in history, Kwame Ture, aka Stokely Carmichael. This is why he existed. This is why he introduced me and others to the terminology of scientific socialism. Socialism is the paramount that will always be here. Social Security. How is it that you got people trying to do away with Social Security? Oh, well, see, this is what you're going to do. You're going to work your butt off your whole life. Then you're going to retire. Then the government going to give you some of your tax money back, call it Social Security, and give you Medicaid back from the money that you paid into taxes for those 35, 45, 50 years that you worked. And then somebody going to try to take it away from you. Oh, well, Social Security is getting low now. How is it that Social Security getting low? And everybody, and most people in the country are working every day. I'm going to work today. Guess what? I went to work today and I got off. I was at work today. I got off, and guess what happened? I'm going to get paid in a couple of days. And when I get paid in a couple of days, they're going to take taxes and Social Security money. So if that's happening to millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people on a regular basis, how is it that it's ever getting low? Let's just look at the reality of things. We can no longer take the information from our oppressor and process it as fact. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones. Okay, we're going to listen to this. We're going to realize this. We're going to realize that. And now what's the story behind it? That's the way you fight. And again, we're going to stop using that word fight unless you are actually in a fight. What we're in is a perpetual sparring session. And I will talk about that later. But what I'm going to do now is do what I always do. I'm going to hit you with the history information because today's history is something that I think is important because they tell you that women are the weakest sex. They tell you that women don't know how to do this and don't know how to do that. I'm going to debunk that and with this video, and then you can go to www.thaendofdabench.com, www.thaendofdabench.com, and watch this video in its entirety. I'm going to show it to you now because it's important that you see these things. And when you see these things, you'll realize the power you have, the power you've always had, and the power that is waiting to be used inside of you. I'll be back shortly.
As an example of how underserved African rebellions are in popular discourse, I thought I would start with a brief personal story. Some time ago, as I was making a presentation in a class for my master's program, I made a quick reference to the Haitian Revolution in a closing statement. Soon afterwards, I began to notice that my fellow classmates were baffled at the reference. But all the more shocking was a question from my professor, who inquired about what the Haitian Revolution was. As you may imagine, that experience contributed to the origins of this channel. Anyway, believe it or not, this is a true story. I erroneously assumed the Haitian Revolution was common knowledge, but I was mistaken. This experience is one of the reasons why I make multiple videos on the history of rebellions by enslaved Africans. If the Haitian Revolution, the greatest and most monumental rebellion of enslaved human beings that formed a lasting state, is not known, then surely the countless others are lost to popular knowledge. Anyway, let's begin. The sources on the St. John Rebellion of 1733 are a bit of a mixed bag. There are some records that point to a very interesting aspect of the rebellion, that it was led by a woman. Other more numerous sources seem to leave that aspect out altogether, and thus it's difficult to decipher the truth of the matter. So it's important to note that this video is going to tell the story from the perspective of the reported leadership by a woman. However, be aware that there are some discrepancies concerning the history of the St. John's Rebellion of 1733. This rebellion on the island of St. John is unique because it was one of the earliest rebellions of enslaved Africans in the Caribbean. It also possessed a certain ethnic makeup. The group of Africans that initiated and participated in the revolt were almost exclusively Akan peoples. This rebellion in particular seems to have been centered on creating an Akan-led state across the Caribbean. In the wake of the Akwamu polity's collapse in 1730, a pool of enslavable Akwamu peoples was created, and the uprisings by oppositional forces and neighboring polities who allied with them led to the capture and exploitation of some of Akwamu's women and men. A large number of the insurrectionists were newly arrived Africans from the Gold Coast, specifically those from Akwamu. These Akan persons who were skilled in the use of firearms remembered the structure and the fall of their polity in the Khanland and likely sought to recreate it.
Now, as you see, as you saw, as you see, and as you continue to see from me on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, every weekday, this is the information that is keeping away from you. You've never heard of that. Most of us have never heard of that. And you don't realize just how organized this was. When you look at this and you know the history, that's how you know that's when they start mixing our communities. Because if you let too many people from one region come together, they're going to speak the same language, they're going to have the same memory, they're going to remember, put things back together. You are dismembered. If I take you from Illinois, if I take you from New Jersey, if I take you from Texas, you are dismembered. And then, but you can't remember because there are no memories from New Jersey, Illinois, and Texas. What they are facts that we are all trapped in the same fight. But when you are put in a situation like that, those people remembered what happened to their people over there on the continent, and they took over a portion of the Western Hemisphere, and now it's called Haiti or Haiti. Improperly, well, the correct pronunciation is Haiti. Shout out to Dr. Greg Carr and Professor Karen Hunter. Thank you. If I could, I'd hug you. But this is how you remember things. And when you remember, you put things together. And then when you put things together, you realize the people in New Jersey, the people in Texas, and the people in Illinois have more things in common than apart. And then at that point, we are working together. We're representing New Jersey. We're representing Illinois. We're representing Texas. But we are not that. As the late, great Frankie Beverly said, we are one. And when you do that now, you realize that you're in a fight. We can no longer color inside the lines per se. Now, you have to follow the laws, but as another one of my favorite personalities always says, and she quotes the late great Thurgood Marshall, sometimes you have to violate the law and make the law catch up with you. This is what the late great Dr. King did. This is what all the people from the Civil Rights Movement, all the people from the Super 70s, with the Soul 70s, with the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense and other organizations, Mike Africa up in Philadelphia and other places throughout the United States of America said, enough. They stepped outside the status quo. Oh, well, we're just going to vote every 4 years. No, they start paying attention every single solitary day. That's why you realize you're in a fight when you hear things like the South will rise again. This is the difference in a war and a fight. A fight, a war and a fight. A fight is something that is organized. A boxing match, per se, is something that's organized. You have a referee, and then you standing there, and then you swing in for 3 minutes, then you go sit down for about 90 seconds, then you go do it again. You got these weighted gloves to make everything even, to balance out things. That's a fight. You're in a war. See, there's no control in this chaos that we're in. Some of the laws are structured to protect you, and if you stay within those laws, then bam. A war, on the other hand, is something totally different. There's a total difference in a war and a fight. At one point in my life, I was a fighter. When I was a younger man, I fought all the time. I was a shorter man. I probably had a pygmy complex because I ain't French and ain't no Napoleon in me. So I'm going to call it the pygmy complex. But the pygmies probably one of the little violent people. So we're going to go on here and go with the French because they was always in Africa trying to take over things. To this very day, you got a lot of people speaking their language. So allow me to digress. So it is a Napoleon complex, a little bitty man who want to take over, a little bitty man who want to take over the world. And by the way, I only got 10% European in me. Shout out to Ancestry.com. If y'all want to shoot your man some bread, and I do, and I keep saying that. But back to it. Allow me to digress. But I had a little Napoleon complex. So I was always in these little sparring matches with my peers. Sometimes they were older, and I never punched down. But I thought this was a real situation. All right, we're gonna do battle, and then you fight for about 3 minutes, and then it was over. Up until the one day I fought the dude who sat next to me in class. He was bigger, he was stronger than me, and he had a different mindset than me. Me and the late Uvell Reed had a bat fight. For whatever reason, We had lost our minds and we were swinging bats at each other. That fight ended. Ironically, it's on the people who saw this fight: Larry Scotty Davis, Aunt Dilla Harris, James Buck Barnes, and Uvell Reed, and myself. I'm the only person who is still here. They on the ancestral round. I lost that fight. I lost that battle. I got beat down. Uvell Reed hit me with that bat about 6 times. I hit him twice. At that point, the guys broke it up because all of us were friends. At the end of it, me and Uvell Reed shook hands, and I realized Uvell don't fight. He is at war. When you challenge Uvell Reed, he was at war with you. And guess what? Just like the traditional African situations, we were not at war to destroy each other. We were at war to prove a point. Once the war ended, me and Uvell still sat next to each other in class the next day. And within 24 hours, me and Uvell were back laughing and joking because we had to work it out. It wasn't a destructive thing. This is like one of the oldest games in the world where you can only win when everybody around you has a pod. You may have the most pods, but it's an African tradition. The African tradition of the Zulu Nation, we're going to give you the opportunity to retreat, piece it out, and we're not going to try to destroy you. But at this point, we understand who's going to win these wars. And that's where we need to be. That's the mentality we need to take on. See, what you don't even realize is this. These people have actually turned this into quote unquote ghetto warfare. We ain't gonna call it guerrilla warfare because we're not guerrillas. But I understand the concept. But they didn't actually lower the standards to the hood standards. Who comfortable in the hood? We are. What do I mean by that? Man, I got mad respect for the young sister, Jasmine Crockett. But I think she's turned into a caricature of herself. It's more sound bites and clapbacks and dance. Now we dance doing. You got Dr. Gates. Y'all know how I feel about Gates. But you got Dr. Gates doing it. We not like us. What the hell are we doing? That's neither here nor there. But we're making videos and we're looking cute and we're enjoying celebrity. We can't get caught up in the matrix. And remember, I told you, they are stepping back into the matrix because now I'm comfortable over here in the matrix because now I'm popular. I got 1 million subscribers on TikTok. Everybody watching my PBS specials. And hey, I'm down for the black cause until it ain't paying Gates. But Sister Crockett, she seems to be embracing celebrity more than blackness. But hey, man, I'm not here to judge nobody, man. I ain't got no heaven and I don't know heaven and hell to put anybody in. So we're just gonna allow it to be what it is. But like I said, they bringing it to our level. The fight, it's the United States of America and the power structure of America. They are HRap at this point. And the black community and the working class community, we could be Uvell Reed. We gonna get hit by this bat, but we have a different mentality than HRap. And what I mean by that is this. You bring this down to a color outside the lines, attack mode, and then we realize what we're up against it, then we kill it and walk away, not to destroy, but to let know, then we're in a fight. They used to have that mentality. For years, you heard the mentality, the adage, the South will rise again. You thought it meant, oh man, the people in the South gonna be on top. No, they meant white nationalism, white supremacy, and white dominance will return. And most people of that culture, they don't even know what that means. Oh, we're gonna be okay. No, they mean the Elon Musk, Donald Trumps, the Vladimir Putins, and the rest of those dudes. We gonna take over the world. We only a small portion of the world. We're gonna take it over again because we ain't gonna allow these black folks, these Latino folks, and these Asian folks, and these African folks to realize the power that they have. So when you take it to a hood level and you lie and you propagandizing things, guess what? We know what it looked like when somebody walk up on us a lie. It's called discernment. Like what? Or you know what? I'm not even gonna use the biblical thing. It ain't called discernment. Let's just, since I said we're gonna take it to the hood level, it's called game recognized game. And you understand, you sit back, you let people play themselves, and because they think they're smarter than you, they'll get on TV and you have the president of the United States do a Tesla commercial on the White House lawn. Why are you guys not upset at the president selling Teslas? Why ain't y'all upset at that? Because y'all don't even know that y'all in the fight. But we do. And what we continue to do is walk away from things and continue to fight and gather and come together and work together. Even my man Roland Martin. Man, I like Roland Martin. I'm from Chicago. I've been knowing Roland Martin my whole life. He only a few years older than me, but I remember him at the Public Defender. I remember him on WVON or JPC or one of the two Johnson Publishing Company radio stations or VON. I remember Roland Martin. I'm very familiar with this cat. I have a problem with Roland Martin. But at the end of the day, Roland Martin's trying to make money too. So he only gonna push the envelope so far, and he have a bunch of people on his show that will push the envelope. But if you watch the show, Roland don't let you cut outside the lines too much. Don't listen to Roland all the time. Don't you listen to Roland? As the great Professor Hunter says, you chew up the meat, you spit out the bones. See, you have to be able to watch things, watch certain things. You have to be able to look at stuff and realize what they're for. Get what you're gonna get out of this, and then you pull back, and then you can't snatch all the berries off a tree or all the grapes off a vine. But what you can do is get enough to survive, develop, and cultivate your own. And that's what we get from our brother Roland Martin. That's what you get from Sister Jasmine Crockett. See, she's able to do those, cut up and act out, and you know, she on them. She on them now, and now we need to be on her. Enough for the clapbacks, enough for the calling outs. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna make this fight our fight? How are we gonna get what we need out these fights? How are we gonna hold up the light on the BS of the Trumps and the Musk and the other billionaires? How is it that Donald Trump best friend is a dude who he don't even believe in what that dude, his whole infrastructure is built on? Electric car to slow down the carbon footprint on Earth. You don't believe in climate change. So let's start highlighting how you rolling with him. And then you get them to fight. He don't even, how are you rolling with him? His entire empire is built on things that on things that they don't agree with. But you know what they agree with? White nationalism. So you make the two people who only know how to do this collide, and you fall back and you watch them fight, and you move in and you take all their resources and you become powerful. That's war. That's what they call guerrilla warfare, because we're coming from different angles. You don't even like him. You don't even like him. Why are y'all working together? Make them question each other. He only wants your power. Do exactly what they do in the hood. He a Crip, he a Blood. Y'all drive through the hood and shoot a Crip in one of those blue and white cars with the disco lights on top, and then they're back fighting when it was a peace treaty. If you don't believe it, hey, if you don't know, you don't know. I have been picked up by a police force. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't need them sweating me tonight. But I've been picked up by the police force and dropped off in other neighborhood. But here's the thing, as I told you, I was a ball player, and both sides understood I was a ball player. I didn't pick a side, but I picked this side. And guess what? They dropped me over there, and my man Treetop, salute to Treetop. Hey man, we can only take you so far back close to your hood. We'll let you go back. Dropped me off. Bam! I went on about my business. See, we can have differences. We can be on different sides of the fence. We can be on different sides of the community, but we're on the same side of the fence. Us, whether they're blue and red, whether they're against the disciples and vice lords, whether they're the Divine Nine. We can do all that stuff and stand for what we stand for. With Illinois, Texas, Jersey, I represent that. We can do all that, but we represent us more than anything. We more than anything, we represent us. So we follow the rules of engagement, stand together as a collective on this work, on this Black side, on this humanity side, on this working class side, and then we fight them. Them. It's us versus them. The rich and powerful versus the worker bees. And guess what? You're only rich and powerful because the bee gets up and work. And if the bee start looking at the other bees and say, we ain't making no honey, you're going to have to capitulate to us. Or y'all going to stop, because then we can create our own infrastructures. We can create our own version of the internet. We can create our own version of fan base, aka a better Facebook. We can go to Spill. We can go to Mansa, and we don't need your streaming services. We don't need your infrastructure for anything. We need your internet, because guess what? AT&T, what is it? AT&T Comcast, Infinity, and then other people, they want us. They're not going to say a word. They're going to keep it quiet. And then guess what? We continue to build our infrastructure with the things that they've put in place. And then we can even walk away from that. But here's the thing. We don't need the rich and powerful to tell us what cars to buy. So we're going to do away with the EPA, but we're going to make electric cars? No, you're not. We're going to walk away from that. We will bankrupt you. And we will tell our friends and other communities, look at them. They playing in your face. Because I remember they used to call hippies and tree huggers. Hey, I know you don't like me, but he don't like you. And he the enemy of your enemy. And that makes you my friend temporarily until we get our situation together, and then we walk away. We highlight all the flaws, all the chinks in their armor, and then we make them fight them. That we were already fighting. We already moving towards one thing and make them move towards that same thing, and then we just separate. And at that point, it's the barter system. Okay, you got a lot of farms, and I got a lot of money. You got a lot of this, and you need a lot of that, and I got that. And then we go exchange, and then we understand the people who want to intermingle in a peaceful and a fair and dignified way, we will. And the people that don't, we're always squinting at them like, I see you. And I understand what you're capable of. This is why I show you the history. This is why I give you the power of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that has been bestowed on me by people like Dr. Greg Carr, Karen Hunter, to read down your favorites, Clay Kane, Reese Cole, and a host of others on Sirius Satellite 126. And I do research on my own, and I listen to a myriad of other people who give me this information. I process that information. That's great. She don't like to be called that, but the great Professor Hunter says, chew up the meat, spit out the bones. My grandfather used to say the same thing. And then I give it to you guys. And then when I get stuff, I'm gonna give it to you, and then I'm gonna bring guests on, and they'll give it to you, and then we'll galvanize and create a community, and we're gonna move forward. We don't need everything that they have; they need everything that we have. So that's why Target is struggling. Oh well, we ain't gonna do DEI. DEI won't work for us no way. Affirmative action won't work for us no way. You combat affirmative action and DEI, build a stronger, more galvanized, more unified Black community worldwide. And then guess what? They'll be looking for DEI. They'll be looking for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because when you're the worker bee, you're the heartbeat of the system. You don't need the system. The system needs you. And once we realize that, we'll revolt against the system, defeat the system, and keep on walking. With that being said, I am Brian HRap B. Williams. Y'all already know. You can catch up with me, the End of the Bench Media, on YouTube, www.thaendofdabench.com. Y'all know I'll be back tomorrow. 2 fingers, 1 word, and I never say the words, but
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why